Good day, grade 12s, and welcome to your first life sciences lesson. And grade 12s, in this lesson, we'll be discussing a topic that shouldn't be too complex. It should just be straightforward. And I just want to start this video off by saying that, boys and girls, I believe I can bet you 170 million rands and everything that I own. If you learn these notes exactly as they are, you don't even have to supplement. You don't even need a textbook. You don't even need anything else. It's just these notes that I'm going to give you. Plus, this coupled with past papers should get you those distinctions. And I am speaking from experience. I myself used these notes. I myself made these notes. So there's no need for you to go to different resources and make notes. If you've got this, you're sorted. So now, grade 12s, we are going to start talking about the DNA code of life. Now, boys and girls, we first have to start by I guess first finding out where we'd usually find DNA, and that's in the nucleus. All right. Now, this is the structure of the nucleus. As we could see, know it exactly as it is. And first of all, we could see the nuclear plasm. We could also see the double nuclear membrane, the chromatin network, which condenses during a certain phase in meiosis as well as mitosis. We found the nucleolus, we found the nuclear pore, we find the ribosome and the endoplasmic reticulum. Know the structure of the nucleus, boys and girls, off by heart. Now, boys and girls, I want us to quickly look at or I guess we need to just quickly dissect the purpose of the nucleus itself. Boys and girls, the nucleus regulates metabolism and cell structure, as well as the chromosomes in the nucleus. They store the genetic material of the cell. The chromatin network condenses, and then there'll be chromosomes, and then from there, once it has condensed, it has the genetic material of the cell. Now, boys and girls, there are two types of nucleic acids, and these are DNA and RNA. So DNA is deoxyribonucleic acid, and RNA is ribonucleic acid. So let's quickly recap. We've got the nucleus. We need to know the structure of the nucleus. We need to know the functions of the nucleus, that it regulates the metabolism and functioning of the cell, as well as it contains chromosomes, which contains the genetic material of the cell, right? Now, from there on, we find DNA and RNA. But for now, we're going to first start looking at DNA. And where's the location of DNA? Very important, boys and girls. Because in one of the Gauteng practicals that we, the SBAs, they did ask this question and it was 2 marks. 2 marks out of 30 is a lot, boys and girls. So now, the location of DNA. DNA is found in the nucleus, in the mitochondria. And in plants, it is found in chloroplasts. Now, where's DNA found? The nucleus, mitochondria, and in plants, chloroplast. Now we have what we call, boys and girls, extranuclear DNA. What is an extranuclear DNA? So extranuclear DNA, boys and girls, is DNA that occurs outside the nucleus. Just look at this, boys and girls. Extranuclear. So it tells you it's outside of the nucleus. So it's DNA that occurs outside the nucleus. And now, boys and girls, we then come to encounter a very integral or a very important structure. And this is a chromosome. Now, what is a chromosome, boys and girls? A chromosome is a long thread-like structure that is composed or made of DNA, and that DNA is wrapped around proteins, and those proteins are called histones. Okay. Now, boys and girls, in DNA code of life, we're going to look at what we call a gene. Now, we all know genes. There's a gene for skin color, there's a gene for eye color, there's a gene for height, there's a gene for race. Now, what is a gene, boys and girls? A gene is a short segment of DNA that codes for a particular protein and thus controls the inherited characteristics. A gene is a short segment of DNA that codes for a particular protein, thus controlling inherited characteristics. So, for example, height, as I said, I can't say some of your attitudes are inherited from your parents because we all know how that deviates a lot. We could talk about eye color, we could talk about hair. We'll see how we do past papers and you'll see multiple examples, okay? So boys and girls, don't stress, learn this off by heart and you'll see how this comes into play. Now, as we move on in our lesson, boys and girls, we need to know these three individuals, Watson, Crick, and Wilkins. Watson and Crick discovered the structure of DNA. So they discovered that it was double helical or double helix. But these three individuals got Nobel Peace Prizes after presenting a certain lady's work as theirs. And that's Rosalind Franklin's X-ray photos. So Rosalind Franklin took X-ray photos of DNA. And that's when Watson and Crick were able to decipher that, hey, listen, the shape or the structure of DNA is actually double helical. So, in essence, just know that Watson and Crick and Wilkins received Nobel Peace Prizes for presenting Rosalind Franklin's work as theirs. Alright? That's all the history you need to know with regards to DNA. Now, what is DNA? We've been talking about DNA. Now, boys and girls, DNA is a giant molecule that comprises or consists of two strands that are twisted to form a double helix shape. They form a double helix shape. So if I were to ask you, what is the shape of DNA? It's double helical, double helix. Now, we have what we call now, boys and girls, nucleotides. And nucleotides, boys and girls, are the monomers. These are the building blocks. These are the foundation of DNA and RNA. Now, a nucleotide itself has three parts. It has a nitrogenous base, a phosphate group, as well as a sugar molecule. Now, we're now focusing. I apologize for the noise that's going on outside, boys and girls. There's really nothing I could do about it, but please do try just focus on what I'm saying. Now, we're going to focus on DNA, boys and girls, and we're going to focus on DNA's nitrogenous bases and the way in which these bases are paired. So in DNA, we have adenine and thymine, we have cytosine and guanine. And a pro tip is that remember this way. Adenine bonds to thymine, cytosine bonds to guanine. And how do you remember this? There's a rhyme. Apples and trees, adenine and thymine, cars and garages, cytosine and guanine. Apples and trees, cars and garages. That's the easiest way to remember this. Now, boys and girls, we have what we call purines and pyrimidines. Now, this is not very important. It barely pops up, but it might pop up when when you're tackling these level 4 questions that are like for a mark or 2. But we always want to strive for excellence. So we know that adenine and guanine are purines because they are both big or huge molecules. And we know that cytosine and thymine are pyrimidines because they are smaller molecules, okay? Now, boys and girls, these nitrogenous bases, adenine and thymine, which bond together, guanine and cytosine, which bond together, are linked together by something. Now, they are linked by what we call weak hydrogen bonds. Weak hydrogen bonds. Now, boys and girls, don't stress. I've got you guys covered. Let's move on to the next page. This is the last page, and then from there on, I'll be making another lesson. And then after that lesson, we're going to be tackling past papers, and you'll see how these notes, knowing these notes that I've given you off by heart, because I did not write them for the love of Tom, Dick, and Joseph, and whoever. I wrote them, and I made them because these are the ones I exactly used in my matric year. Please do use them, okay? Now, before we end off this lesson, quite a short lesson, I know. A lot of information, but I want you to take this information and study it off by heart, know it off by heart, because when we move on, this is this is actually quite a integral part to us being able to ace this whole section. That's quite easy. Now, this is a structure of a nitrogenous base, boys and girls. We said that we have a phosphate group, we have a sugar molecule, excuse me, and we have a nitrogenous base. The nitrogenous base can be either guanine, cytosine, adenine, or thymine. Now, boys and girls, we said that nucleotides, this is not, apologies, boys and girls, this is actually supposed to say structure of a nucleotide. Yes. Now, a nucleotide is the building block or the monomer of what? A DNA molecule. And as such, a DNA molecule looks. Now remember, boys and girls, we said that what links these together, what links these nitrogenous bases together, we said that it's a weak hydrogen bond. There we see them. There we see that adenine binds and is joined together by weak hydrogen bonds to thymine. We see that cytosine is bounded together to guanine, boys and girls. Then we see we have our phosphate group here, boys and girls. And in DNA, we have a specific type of sugar, as well as in RNA, we have a specific type of sugar molecule. In DNA, we have deoxyribose sugar. In RNA, we have ribose sugar. Simple. Deoxyribose nucleic acid, deoxyribose sugar. Ribose nucleic acid, ribose sugar. Now, thank you very much, boys and girls, for watching this lesson. I will be uploading another video, and in the next video, I will essentially be going through a past paper question and showing you how, if you know what I said you should know, you will be getting those distinctions. Trust me, boys and girls. Trust me. Now, boys and girls, I'm wishing you nothing but the best on your journey as you start up learning and taking education seriously. We'll see each other in the next video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share these notes, share this video to your friends, and I hope it does really help. I do hope from the bottom of my heart. Any form of comments, criticism, compliments, please are welcomed in the comment section. Thank you very much, boys and girls. Cheers.